Hello, welcome to Exploring Christianity, A Journey of Faith. Today we'll explore the question, how are the Protestant, Catholic, Orthodox, and Jewish Bibles different? This topic was a tough one. It seemed like an easy question when I started, but I found that one question kept leading to another. Before we start, a quick word on what a Protestant is. For purposes of our discussion today, a Protestant is a member of any Christian denomination that is not Catholic and is not Orthodox. Baptist, Methodist, Episcopalians, Lutherans, Presbyterian, and Mormons, to name a few, are all Protestants. There are differences in beliefs between Catholics, Orthodox Christians, and Protestants, but we're not going to talk about them today. Let's start with the differences between the Protestant and Jewish Bibles. Note that the Jewish Bible is sometimes called the Hebrew Bible, which is the original language. I also found it called the Mikra and the Tanakh. The Protestant Old Testament and the Hebrew Bible are basically the same. The books are in a different order, and the Protestant Bible breaks some books into multiple pieces that are combined in the Jewish Bible. For example, the Protestant Bible has a book called 1 Samuel and a book called 2 Samuel, and the Jewish Bible has a single book just called Samuel, but they have the same contents. The Catholic Bible contains 7 books in the Old Testament that the Protestant Old Testament and the Jewish Bibles do not. Some Protestant Bibles contain these books in a separate section called the Apocrypha. Some, but not all Protestants, consider the Apocrypha to be helpful religious writings, but Protestants generally do not consider the Apocrypha to be holy and authoritative scripture. Most Christians consider the Old Testament and the New Testaments to be from God, though we don't all agree exactly what that means, and so they are different than other religious writings. This led me to ask the question, where do these 7 books come from? Which gets a bit tricky. As I said, the Jewish Bible was originally written in Hebrew. By about 300 years before Jesus was born, many Jews no longer knew Hebrew, and their Bible was translated into Greek, which many of them did know. This Greek translation is called the Septuagint. It was this translation that was originally used in the Christian Bible. Sometime later, and even the experts don't seem to agree when, but apparently in or before the 11th century, the Jewish people adopted as authoritative a different translation of their Bible. This translation, called the Masoretic text, was copied and distributed by a group of Jews called the Masoretes. The sources used for the Masoretic text are thought to include a Hebrew translation, but not the original Hebrew writing, which was lost. The Masoretic text did not include 7 books that were included in the Septuagint and which were written between 170 years before Jesus to 70 years after Jesus. With this switch, the Hebrew Bible and the Christian Bible at that time were then based on different translations, and the Christian Bible contained the 7 apocryphal books that the Jewish Bible did not. In the 16th and 17th centuries after Christ, the Christian religion split in a series of events called the Reformation, and Protestant churches split off from the Catholic Church. When this happened, the Protestant churches decided to use the current Jewish Bible, the Masoretic text, as their Old Testament, and the Catholic Church continued to use the Old Testament based on the Septuagint. This is why the Catholic Bible now includes 7 books that the current Jewish Bible and the Protestant Old Testament do not. So far, I have not mentioned the Orthodox Bibles. When Jesus' disciples went to spread the word after Jesus' death and resurrection, those that remained in the area of Rome became the Catholic Church. Other disciples traveled farther out and eventually reached Russia, Greece, India, the Orient, Serbia, Romania, and other parts of the world. The groups that developed in these parts of the world are called the Orthodox denominations. Their Bibles generally contain all of the books of the Catholic Bible plus a small number of additional books that are not found in the Protestant, Catholic, or Jewish Bibles, and the different Orthodox Bibles do not contain the same set of additional books. To understand how this came about would require a lot more discussion about how we ended up with the set of books that are in the Bible. So for now, I'll leave it as saying that the Orthodox Bible has a few additional books. I used quite a number of internet sources while I was researching this topic. I'll post them in the comments. Now I'd like to hear from you. What other differences do you know about between these Bibles?